Imagine building a 3-bedroom, 1,300 plus square foot detached property in the heart of the Beaches, Toronto, all for $650,000. Seems pretty crazy, but Toronto Life actually shared a story about a millennial couple that just did that. They built a laneway home in their parents' yard, which was a great way to think outside of the box for getting them into the real estate market. If we haven't met before, my name is Dyson. I am a real estate agent with eXp Realty, and I help first-time homebuyers and first-time sellers use the power of real estate to leverage for their future. One of my commitments for this channel is to bring you out of the box ideas on how you could potentially own real estate in Toronto. When this article came across my desk, I knew that I needed to take a look and share some of my favorite parts about it. The headline is, I never thought I could afford a home in the Beaches, then I built my laneway house. I think a lot of us can agree that we feel like home ownership is so far out of our reach, and maybe laneway houses is one way that can get you to owning real estate a little bit faster. First, let me tell you a little bit about this laneway home. I think initially, really small, really tight, but this millennial couple was able to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath detached home over 1,300 square feet in their parents' backyard. And for $650,000, they were able to get a designer level home. The primary has a walk-in, it's big enough to fit a king-size bed. So really, laneway doesn't always necessarily mean super small or super tight. Another pro I think that really can't go without being mentioned is the affordability piece. Having 2 families supporting the overall value and mortgage of that property is going to make affordability a lot more approachable. I think this could be a really good option for maybe 2 couples, maybe 2 friend groups that are not necessarily ready to hold on to a property or can afford a single property by themselves. But with having those 2 family and those 2 properties, it might just be a lot easier. Something else that I thought really was amazing for this couple specifically is that they did not need to have a down payment. Now, in a normal situation where your parents are not the ones that are providing the lot, this would definitely not be the case. But again, this couple saw an opportunity and really made the most out of it. All right, those are some of the positives of this laneway home in this article. Let's talk about some of the downfalls. Number 1 that we definitely cannot pass without discussing is the fact that both properties are actually tied together in one parcel of land. So what does this mean? If this couple wanted to sell their property, they would need to have the agreements of their parents to sell at the same time. Now, let's assume both parties agree to sell. We are now going into market and we need to find a buyer who is willing to take on both of those properties. That can definitely make things a little bit more nuanced. It may mean that you sit on the market for a little bit longer, but with the right buyer, everything sells. The second con that they talk about is they set a budget for this build for $500,000. They ended up spending $650,000, and a large portion of this was due to the fact of inflation during the pandemic. They saw an increase in lumber alone by $18,000. From the point of setting their budget to breaking land, that is a humongous number. This couple, though, didn't squirm or get scared. They actually got really creative in how they reworked the budget. For example, instead of digging out a basement, they actually did a slab, which saved $200,000, which again, kept them in line with that budget a little bit closer. So what do I think about laneway houses? So of course, this article does a really good job at highlighting both the pros and the cons. And I think that this is just another strategy that first-time homebuyers can consider when trying to navigate the real estate market. Who do I ideally see this working for? So for sure, families that have the land to allot and gift. I think couples who are bringing their forces together is a really great way to kind of join forces resources and be able to buy more, but not compromise on the living style of having your own space. I think that this also has some obstacles because those couples or those two parties that are living on this land truly need to have a vision that is aligned, because if one party thinks this is their forever home, they're gonna live there forever, and the other party is just using this in that real estate ladder to get closer to their dream home, they may feel a little bit of a disconnect when they're ready to move on, but that other party is just stuck and they wanna stay there. So pros and cons for both opportunities. I think that this is a really great way, again, that maybe we can get you into your first home a lot quicker. Thank you so much for watching this video. We love making this, and if you're curious to see what a little bit of behind the scenes life is, feel free to follow me over on Instagram at jdysonrealty. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.